Hello and welcome to the first of hopefully a series of videos that I would like to do from time to time while you're waiting for my normal videos. Basically on Twitter and Instagram, I asked you to ask me questions. So this is pretty much just a normal Q&A video. I asked you all to give me questions with the hashtag PugQA, and I got quite a few answers. So I thought, well, since I've got enough answers, I'll come do this video and then encourage you to send me your answers over Twitter or in the comments below of anything you'd like to ask me, and we'll take it from there, and hopefully we'll be able to do many more of these videos in future. So let's get on with the questions. My first question comes from Thomas Garrett on Twitter at DuoReviewsTom, and he asks me, what got you into YouTube? That's an interesting question. Well, it might not be an interesting question. I guess you have to be the have to figure that one out for yourself. Basically, I sort of got into YouTube and video production completely by accident. Some of you may or may not know that I've been a writer about video games for quite a few years now, probably about 6 or 7 years now, mainly working for a site called GodIsAgeek.com. And I've been was a staff writer there for many years, and there came a point where we got a capture card for review, an Elgato, one of the original game captures, and that was assigned to me, so I gave it a review on my creaky old iMac at the time, and I quite liked playing around with capturing footage and manipulating it using editing software. So I sort of thought, well, maybe I can do something with this. So I did more videos for GodIsAgeek on YouTube for their channel, and I still do to this day, so check them out at youtube.com/GodIsAgeek. So I did work there for a little bit. I've done some other things. I worked for Nintendo Life for a short while doing some of their video stuff, and then I left from there. And then I started Pug Hoof Gaming just over a year ago, just to experiment the things I couldn't do in other outlets that I work for. So that's pretty much it. Completely by accident. Didn't intend to do anything with YouTube. I kind of wish I did it years ago, to be honest. If I'd done it five years ago when it was a bit smaller, I think I probably maybe have a few more subscribers by now, I think. But thank you very much for your question, Tom. Next question comes from Mog Anarchy on Twitter at Mog Anarchy, and he asks, have you ever rage quit badly or smashed something due to gaming frustration? I'm a pretty chilled out person, to be honest. I don't really get too worked up about losing in games. At least not, probably maybe for the last 15 years, probably not. I don't really play online too much either, so that probably kind of helps keep me calm and not agitated. In terms of smashing things up, though, I guess would it count if I talked about a particular accident with the Wii controller? When the Wii came out originally, there was all sorts of these reports of people smashing things, smashing televisions and stuff, and I did something pretty similar. The first weekend I got a Wii, I was playing Wii Tennis, or Wii Sports rather, the tennis game and that, and I was playing probably on Sunday night about quite late at night, so the lights were on, and just playing alone in my bedroom, and I went to do a serve, and I got a bit too overexcited, and I lifted my arm to do the serve, and smashed the Wii remote right into the light bulb, plunging me into darkness, which was very embarrassing. So I had to get a new light bulb the next day. But that's about it, really. I'm pretty calm, and I'm pretty careful with stuff as well. So I buy things, and I want to keep them safe, and I don't want to ruin them. So I'm very careful. But thank you for your question. Thank you very much. Next up is my good friend Andy from the RGDS podcast on Twitter at RGDS podcast. Please check out that podcast, because it's fantastic, and sometimes you may even see me on there, because I'm one of the semi-regular hosts on that show. So if you want a bit of podcasting action from me, check out on iTunes, or when you have a good podcast host, RGDS podcast. Great retro discussion show, all sorts of topics. You'll love it. Anyway, his question to me is, what is your favourite retro game featuring a dog? I can't think of many. That's tricky, actually. There aren't that many games featuring dogs, at least ones that are memorable. But I guess my favourite game featuring a dog is probably Parappa the Rapper. I was never a PlayStation kid at the time, but Parappa the Rapper was the one game that really captivated me, just because it's so quirky, and being into music at the time, in terms of I used to play a lot of guitar and keyboard and piano and things. I love rhythm games, and I still do. And Parappa the Rapper was just a fantastic rhythm game. Quite hard, The timing is quite difficult to get right, but it's a game I enjoy very much, and a lot of that has to be down to characters like Parappa and his friends. So it's a very enjoyable game, and definitely one of my favourites. Thanks very much, Andy. My next question comes from Kate on Twitter at @EsperDreams, and she asks me, what's your favourite game or game series? That's another tough one. It's kind of hard to think about because there's a lot of game series. I mean, I could go for the obvious answer of Metroid, maybe. I mean, I do have a Metroid tattoo, so maybe. But I guess probably my real favourite game series has to be The Legend of Zelda. And that sort of stemmed ever since I played Link to the Past on the SNES for the first time. I played the first two NES games before that time, but I guess I was a bit too young to understand, and they were very difficult. Quite obtuse, I guess, for a 6 or 7 year old to play. But when I played Link to the Past, it all sort of clicked, and that's one of my favourite games of all time. And from then on, I've always been a big Zelda fan. I love the fact that there's so much exploration. I love the fact there are so many items to find. I love the idea of going into a dungeon, finding an item, and using that item in unique ways to solve puzzles or defeat a boss, or even go back to previous areas similar to Metroid, and in that sort of manner. So yeah, Zelda. Definitely, one of the series has consistently been a huge part of my life as a gamer, and I guess will continue to be so. I'm definitely looking forward to Breath of the Wild. I think we all are. I guess anyone that likes Zelda is really looking forward to seeing how that's going to turn out. So I hope it's going to breathe new life into the Zelda formula. I think it's needed for a little while now. But thank you very much for your question, Kate. My last question comes from Instagram, which you can find me on instagram.com/Pug Hoof Gaming, and that's from It's Dave Baby. Now, with the release of the Xbox One Slim and the price drop to $250 for the standard edition, do you think the limited editions, aka Forza Edition, Halo, etc., will maintain any value? I guess the answer is probably they won't really hold too much of their value. I think it's always been the case whenever Microsoft release new SKUs or any manufacturer releases new versions of their existing consoles that are slimmer, etc., you do find that even the limited editions of the previous versions, they still tend to lose their value. And if you look at least here in the UK, if you look in a used game shop like CEX is probably the biggest example here in the UK, you'll probably find most of those limited edition consoles fall down in price really quickly. I think the only edition I haven't seen fall down in price is probably the PS4 PlayStation 1 edition, which is obviously keeping its price, and even more so because it was so rare. But on the most part, if you kind of look at things like the Halo editions, and I guess the upcoming Gears of War Xbox One edition as well, I think over time, as the new versions of those consoles come out, those prices will go down. But I guess, I suppose you're asking me in the case if you're looking to buy one of those consoles, maybe either to collect or just because you want an Xbox on the cheap and you want the cooler versions. I guess it's a weird thing to get an Xbox One right now because you've got the Slim edition coming out in the next couple of weeks, and you have Scorpio or whatever that is going to be. So I love my Xbox One. It's a great system with some fantastic games, but to buy one now, Microsoft done a very poor job of trying to communicate what they're doing with the whole Xbox One thing at the moment. They're sort of sending mixed messages to say, yeah, here's a slim version of our existing console, but next year we're going to release a totally new one that's going to make that one obsolete. But hey, that's the games industry for you. Some very strange things going on. Thank you very much for that, mate. So that was all my questions. Thank you very much for asking those questions, all of those, on Twitter and Instagram. I would love to get more questions from you all, so by all means reply to in the comments to this video with your questions for me, or even if you go follow me on Twitter at Pug Hoof Gaming, and even ask me a question on there. If you just send me a message and just tag it, hashtag PugQA, and I'll pick up that question. And when I decide to do a few of these Q&A videos near the time, I like to ask people for questions on Twitter anyway, but feel free to ask me anything at any time. I would love to do another one of these videos. I do love hearing from you all. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe, please tell your friends about us, please share this video, and I've got some great things planned. I'm sort of kind of working through a lot of video scripts at the moment to make lots of things. Also thinking about doing some slightly non-gaming related stuff. I'm actually going to Disney World in September, and my wife and I are thinking of maybe doing some videos while we're there, if that's of any interest, because Disney World is fantastic. It's a fantastic place, and it's going to be interesting to maybe just do some videos and see if you enjoy that sort of thing. But I'm going to leave you to watch other videos or watch more of mine. But thank you very much, and I shall see you around.